In this tutorial, we will explain what makes a CV effective. We will show you different types of CVs and when you should use which, and we'll show you how to best showcase your suitability for a specific position in a CV. There are 3 different types of CV formats that are commonly used today. The chronological CV has the goal to give a full record of your career to date. As a result, it can stretch to over 2 to 3 pages. It's also static, meaning it does not change for the positions you're applying to. A functional CV focuses only on the relevant skills as they relate to the requirements of the position. A functional CV is brief and concise and is usually not over 1 page, but it's a dynamic document you have to change for each position that you apply for. Then there's a combination of the two, the functional chronological CV, also called hybrid or combination CV. So it blends the best of 2 worlds by providing an overview of relevant skills and qualifications and a short and concise work history. A lot rides on your CV, so choosing the right format can be crucial when applying for a job. So let's look at the characteristics of each of these formats in more detail. A chronological CV gives exact information about the positions, job titles, duties and responsibilities you had in a reverse chronological order. Chronological CVs are prioritized for senior or executive positions. So you should use this format if you have more than 10 years of steady employment that reflects a clear upward career progression or increased responsibilities. Then this is the best format to tell your career story. A functional CV gives exact information about your skill set and qualifications. Your experience and achievements are listed under functional headings, which represent the skills the employer is looking for, like customer service or technical knowledge. It does not show which positions you've held and for how long, because the goal is to construct a professional identity that is relevant to the requirements of the job you're applying for. Functional CVs are a good choice for people that are just starting out in their careers, for people entering the job market after a while, or for people considering a change of career. Let's look at the pros and cons of these 2 formats. Chronological CVs are easy to put together and easy to scan through. Therefore, the chronological format is also a favorite for web-based applicant tracking systems used by employers to filter out unsuitable job candidates. They also offer an advantage if you have worked with well-known companies because you list company names as opposed to leaving out your work history. However, they draw attention to gaps, and some recruiters are specifically trained to spot job hopping or inexplicable career gaps. And not all recruiters are willing to spend time reading through your life history, so length can be a problem. In contrast, because your skills are the focal point, you do not draw attention to lack of experience with a functional CV. Because it's a carefully curated document, it only shows relevant skills, and it is not too long. However, a functional CV needs to be adapted to each position, and it does not do too well with algorithms. They're more difficult for a machine to interpret. So in summary, a chronological CV is good for job seekers with a strong, solid work history, while a functional CV is only recommended if highlighting your skills is the best way to showcase your suitability for a position. Let's now look into the 3rd format, the functional chronological or hybrid CV. It highlights your curated set of skills and career accomplishments before it presents your prior employment. It includes achievement statements, which I'll talk about in a moment, and it's a good choice for job seekers that worked for the same employer or held the same position for a long time. With the hybrid format, you can talk about specific skills that are needed to do the job, so they are more easily identifiable for a recruiter. Or you can showcase transferable skills which are required for any job, for example, organizational skills. It satisfies the need of recruiters to see a work history. However, you need to make sure you use important keywords to get past an ATS. If you don't have a continuous work history, this would probably become apparent. A hybrid CV can also be repetitive if similar skills apply to different positions. And it's a bigger effort to put together because only the work history is static. Now let's look at each of the sections of a hybrid CV in more detail, starting out with contact details. These should make it easy for recruiters to contact you for an interview. Then you would typically include an objective. The focus of the objective is on your career goals. Preferably, they're in line with the employer's. The summary of qualifications shifts the focus from you and your goals to the company, describing goals that relate directly to the company's needs, which it communicates in the job ad. This is followed by a section on relevant skills and experience under functional headings, followed by your major achievements. At the bottom, you list previous positions in a concise reverse chronological history of employment. And the section on education includes institutions, degrees, locations, years of attendance. Achievement statements are like little narratives that tell your career story. Simply put, achievement statements look like this: implemented X in order to achieve Y. An achievement statement always starts with an action verb in the past simple verb tense. Usually, achievement statements represent actions that you took while applying a particular skill or carrying out a particular activity. And the most effective achievement statements also list results: a measurable quantitative result, a goal that was achieved, or a benefit. This is a list of typical action verbs associated with professional experience that I found online. But you can easily Google these yourselves for specific professions. A list like this can then inspire you to find achievement statements for your CV. Now let's look at a fictional example. I'm assuming you've all seen Dark Knight Rises and know Batman's sidekick, Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman. Imagine he and Bruce Wayne had a fallout, and now he's applying for a new position. This is an excerpt of his chronological CV before he learned about achievement statements. So the typical list of duties and responsibilities. For someone with such impressive achievements as Lucius Fox, this is not nearly as effective as this, after he learned about how to write achievement statements. For example, we have the action verb turned around, followed by the accomplishment, the result of him using this particular skill. Instead of responsible for a power generator, we have designed a power generator to turn nuclear energy into green technology, so a benefit. And instead of responsible for the development of an aircraft, we have supervised the development of the Bat, the aircraft that hauled a detonated bomb over the bay, saving thousands of lives. So a measurable result. Here are the key takeaways of this tutorial. There are 3 formats of CVs. Each have their advantages and disadvantages, and you need to choose the right one for you. Use relevant skills as functional headings, and create an effective career story by using achievement statements rather than listing duties and responsibilities. Achievement statements are sometimes used only reluctantly. People don't like to brag. However, in a global economy, you should no longer be conservative when it comes to talking about accomplishments. Companies want to see this, and if you don't talk about what separates you from others with similar skills, you lose. Thanks for listening. If you have further questions or ideas for future tutorials, please contact Centrum Schreiben. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up below.